and also presumably with the intent to go for a preferential issue of shares or an open offer or a combination of the two. So this was the intent, that expression of interest and the intent that LIC has expressed. The matter was placed before the board of IDBI Bank, and today the board met, and we have decided to convey the interest of LIC to the Government of India for their decision in these matters. So largely the three things is, of course, to try to look into the expression of interest by LIC in taking a 51% controlling stake, to give them promoter status, and also decide upon what will be the mode of infusion, whether by way of preferential issue of shares or by or through an open offer. As you probably know, almost 94% of IDBI Bank is held with the Government of India and LIC. 86% is with the Government of India, and about 8%, 7.98% is with LIC of India. So the balance 6% is with the public. So so this is what is the decision of the board to convey. Now we will await the government's responses on our letter to them or communication to them.
So what will be the role LIC will play at this
one second, let me just finish. So, and then we will, depending on what is the communication from the Government of India based on their approvals, we will again take it up in our board and take it forward. In addition to that, let me just finish. Just give me a couple of minutes, and then I'll answer all your questions. We have also advised. Of course, you would have already known that the stock exchanges have been advised as part of compliance. We are also advising separately the RBI and the SEBI of whatever I have just told you specifically, and just to keep them informed. So any further action on this will be only after we get to know the decision of the Government of India on the proposal of LIC. Yeah.
So could you tell us the timeline that you're looking at by when the government will approve and then your board will again have to approve that before it goes to RBI or SEBI, or what will be the procedure that is to be followed?
So largely it is like this, that I will not be able to comment on the timeline in the Government of India. So they will process it as per their system. And once the approval comes to the bank, the bank's board will again take it upon record and note the approval. And subsequent to that, the other regulatory approvals, and including the approvals of the shareholders, will be required depending on what is the mode of acquisition going forward.
Given that what is the role LIC will play at this point?
Given that the AGM is on the 13th of August, should we assume that these approvals will come in before that for you to be able to take the shareholder?
I don't think there is any context to the AGM on 13th. The AGM on 13th has been to finalize the annual results of last year. And that has been, I think the notice has already been served to the shareholders. So that will proceed according to plan. And depending on when the approval comes, whether an AGM will be called or a postal ballot will be done, I think those matters will be taken up later. Yes, please.
So what is the role LIC will play after they take over stake in IDBI Bank? What will be the exact nature of their involvement with IDBI Bank?
It's too premature for me to talk about it, but as I said, that they are proposing to take 51% controlling stake. That would mean that they will have a large role to play in the first. Of course, the thing is that there will be capital infusion, which will help IDBI Bank in a significant way. But apart from that, I think we'll have to wait for LIC.
I wanted to understand if we should see this as a financial investment, or should we expect LIC to have management supervision, management control, management say as well when it comes to daily affairs at IDBI Bank?
I think the intent is very clear today in the sense that since they have requested for promoter status, there will be and controlling stake of 51%. Obviously, the intent is to take management control as well.
So, as far as the pricing of the deal is concerned, were there any discussions or suggestions at the board meeting today?
No, we have just conveyed the facts of the letter. We have taken it on board and conveyed the facts of the letter to the Government of India,
So,
and we will await further advices from the government.
so will you also be renaming the bank after retirement?
No, I think these are very premature to answer.
So the DA secretary indicated that 4 nominee directors from LIC will be placed on IDBI Bank board. Was that taken up in today's meeting, the names of who?
No. You see, we are not privy to these discussions in the LIC board. What we know is by way of fact what the letter states, and these are the things that I have just now stated, and we have just taken on board all that. The fact of how, of course, depending on how the approval comes, there will be requirements to amend the articles of association and increase the issued and paid up capital. So those things will happen later, but at the moment it's very premature to talk about all that.
So if the bank is under PCA, so the bank is under PCA, obviously there's a lot of capital requirement as well. There are talks that the valuation will be anywhere between 12 to 1,000 crore rupees. Could you compare that, what you're expecting from this deal versus what is your requirement for this financial year that you've indicated to the government?
No, I think the government has been quite categorical even before this development that they will stand behind every bank in terms of whatever capital needs are required for every bank. So I don't think the requirement of capital in that sense from the government, the support is surely going to be there. So we'll wait for further action on that. Yeah.
So will that be open up?
No, I don't know. That is one of the modes that will be considered, but whether an open offer will be done or not is to be seen.
So why go back to the government? I mean, the government blessed this marriage. I mean, everyone knew that it's been done from Delhi. So it's just a procedure that you're following? Just go back to the government and seek for blessing?
No, we require the approval of the Government of India. This is only an intent or an interest that has been expressed by one of the parties that they would like to have a controlling stake and a promoter status. Now we need to go back to the government to find out whether they are agreeable to it.
So what will happen to the life insurance subsidiary of IDBI and the management of the LIC of the...
So we will take a decision as and when it comes. At the moment, it's only the IDBI federal deal which was being considered. So we'll wait for some time and get some clarity on this, and then try and see how we can go forward on that.
Considered is... Sorry, I didn't get the point.
Now, there was some deal which was being considered in the IDBI federal divestment, which we will have to consider only after we have made some progress in the current plan. Yeah.
See, now LIC is going to take management control. So, will they be willing to divest the stake after putting in so much of effort, so much of money actually? Yeah, because I think under IRDA Act they are supposed to bring it down to 15%.
No, I am not privy to what the LIC's plans are, but I would imagine that at the moment they have shown their interest, and that is it. So what they will and what is their plans, I think we may have to wait for some time till the deal fructifies.
So India Communication has IDB as LIC given a roadmap by when they are going to reduce the stake?
No, we have not heard of them.
So what will be the business synergies for IDBI Bank post the deal?
So IDBI is, leaving aside the NPA issues that are plaguing us. It's a new gen universal bank. It's got extremely good synergies across the financial supermarket, as you may say, starting from IDBI capital markets to life insurance to mutual funds to trustee and so on. The bank has a very long legacy and history, It has a blend of what we call the expertise of developmental financial institutions and the young generation bankers. We have a 17,000 strong force, of which 70% of the officers, which are about 15,500 of them are officers, 70% of them are professionals. We also have one of the lowest, what we call average age per employee, that is about 34, 35, which is one of the lowest in the industry. So I would imagine that with these, sort of, and if you've seen the sort of strides that they're making in the areas of growth in CASA, in improvement in retail growth, and so on, there is a brand that is available, which in the future years could deliver something substantial to any investor.
Something that remains key to stabilizing and turning around a bank is, of course, the management at the helm. Do you intend to stay on beyond, pending, of course, government approvals beyond your term when it ends in September, or is there a succession plan in place?
I don't know. At the moment, I have a tenure for 3 months up to 30th of September, and I intend to complete the tenure.
So, but beyond that, has there been any conversation or any direction from the government?
No, not as yet.
Any direction on the talent? Whether you'll use LIC's management? How will that work?
No, these are questions which are too premature. As and when we get into some of the details, I think we will answer those questions as well.
So as of now, you have already gone to the government, or you are planning to go tomorrow, whatever?
No, after the board meeting, we have communicated to the government. Now it's up to them.
So when you say that the deal is subject to government approval, do you mean cabinet?
I don't know the process by which but yes, I would imagine that
it will go
from the Government of India's approval would require the cabinet, I guess.
Sir, what kind of regulatory dispensation you will need from RBI for this deal?
Change in promoter status is one. Banking Regulations Act, 5%, more than 5% acquisition is another. Fit and proper is a third. So these are some of the things that RBI will probably see.
So could you repeat that? Because RBI regulations say no entity can own more than 10% non-promoter in a bank. So what are the various regulations that have to be clear? Also, IDBI is governed by a separate act, or does the BR Act overrule that?
Now we have to go through some of these approvals which the RBI will give, as I said, in relation to change in promoter status. We have to have acquisition, substantial, significant acquisition approval, fit and proper status. These are some of them.
So LIC is investing 12,000 crores. The number is
I don't. The number amount depends on the mode of acquisition and price, which is currently.
Which you all don't know.
We have no.
Are you all engaging some outside firm to help you with the pricing and the management?
No, nothing at the moment. Yes.
But who would be the advisors to the deal? Has that process
Nothing at the moment.
And sir, is the plan to sell non-core assets through this year also, that large portfolio that the bank was looking to sell? Is that on track?
Yes, I think one of the non-core assets that we were looking at was the IDBI Federal deal, which will take some time for us to look at it again in the light of current developments. So other things will go on as per schedule.
Back burners, pretty much.
Yes.
Right.
Sir, but LIC's stake in IDBI Federal will also increase post this deal when they take management control in the bank?
IDBI Federal is owned by IDBI Bank. So
Yes.
LIC owns will, if at all, will invest in IDBI Bank. So there is an indirect relationship.
That LIC is anyway investing in your bank. It takes IDBI Federal from you.
I think these are all conjectures and speculations. I think we can wait for that.
How long do you think the government will take to respond?
I don't
Any
know.
idea?
It is,
So
we'll have to.
the timeline starts from tomorrow whenever the government comes back to you. And
Yes,
that's how it works.
that is right.
You have to go to the board again.
Now, as I said earlier, that once the approval of the government comes in whatever form, the approval will have to be placed before the board, and subsequently all the other things that I have mentioned will start to kick in.
Is there a time frame from the government by when this entire process will be completed? For example,
No, we don't have any specific time frame, but it will take its own course.
Is this indicated by the government?
Beg your pardon?
This is September is the timeline that was indicated by the government?
I have not, I'm not aware of that. Thank you. Thank you.
So the IDBI Bank management, they're saying that the ball is now clearly in the government's court. They have sought the government's nod for the LIC investment. So that's one step closer in the IDBI Bank and LIC deal. On that note, it is time for us to take a short break. But more news and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned.